There are notable personalities in Roman history who have earned distinction for their bravery and dedication to service. Publius Sextius Baculus was one such person, a Primus pilus centurion who served the 12th Roman legion during Caesar's conquest of Gaul. Baculus's prowess was outstanding, especially when he rescued the life of his general Julius Caesar. Historical sources, and especially Caesar's remarks from Gaul, depict Baculus as a fearless warrior, ready to stand up and fight to the death under Caesar's leadership. Caesar, in his own words, described how Baculus endured bloody battles, even when he was gravely injured. Such was the case, for example, when fighting the Nervi in 57 BC. Also, according to Caesar, after he had spoken to the 10th Legion, he headed to the right side of the battlefield. That was where he found his men in trouble, and the 12th Legion soldiers were pushing at the place where they had grouped their banners. The circumstances were chaotic. Every single leader of the 4th cohort had fallen, the standard bearer had been slain, and the flag had been lost. Across the other cohorts, most leaders were also wounded or dead, including Baculus, who was now so severely hurt that he could barely stand. Furthermore, some soldiers in the rear retreated from the battle, whereas at the front the enemies kept attacking. No reinforcements were at hand, and the situation was hopeless. Baculus was brought to a garrison to receive medical treatment for his injuries. He was left without food for 4 days, but, worried about his own safety and that of everyone else, he left his tent to face the Nervi. Once he got back into the battle, Baculus took the shield of a soldier from the rear rows, since he had lost his own. Showing tremendous fortitude, he dashed forward, and, summoning the centurions by name and emboldening the soldiers, ordered them to charge. His return instilled the soldiers with confidence and spurred them on to fight. Each man was resolved to fulfill his duty under the watchful eye of his commander, even in the direst of conditions. Baculus's leadership briefly relieved the pressure from the Nervi. Nevertheless, Baculus's serious injuries made him pass out, and he was saved by other soldiers who carried him away from the front line. 5 years later, a similar scenario unfolded, and this time Caesar was fighting the Germanic tribe of the Sicambri in 52 BC. After the legions had been fighting for more than 6 hours, the soldiers were running on fumes and had no supplies left. Meanwhile, the Sicambri intensified their attack and started tearing holes in the legion's defensive barrier, plugging the gaps. The predicament was desperate, and there seemed to be no way out. Baculus, together with a military tribune named Gaius Volusinus, went to one of Caesar's legates and explained that there was only one option for escape: to pull off a last-ditch effort. They swiftly assembled the centurions and instructed the soldiers to stop fighting for a moment, just to protect themselves from enemy shells, rest, and get ready. Once a signal was given, they would withdraw from the camp and stake all hope of survival on their own valor. Baculus never backed down in these 2 events and led his men with resolve. He commanded the respect and admiration of his soldiers, who called him the Staff, a nickname associated with his surname, and with the vine staff that the centurions bore as a symbol of their rank. Some historical accounts affirm that Baculus saved Julius Caesar's life by killing an enemy warrior who was about to pounce on the general. Caesar therefore admired Baculus greatly, and it is no wonder that, in his writings in Gaul, he called him the strongest man. Interestingly, Baculus and other centurion called Balventius are the only ones among the Primus pilus centurions whom Caesar praises by name in his writings. This special acknowledgement stresses Baculus's remarkable strength and ability as a military leader. Details of Baculus's death are unclear. Some have suggested that he may have taken his own life after Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, or that he was killed in the Battle of Philippi, fighting on the side of Mark Antony's supporters against Caesar's enemies. But these theories are contradictory and cannot be deemed reliable. However, there is no disputing the fact that Baculus is a striking example of the courage and commitment of Roman soldiers back then, leaving a long-lasting mark on Rome's history. And I'll add on the side a hint about the story of another centurion who fought single-handedly against the Praetorian Guard to protect the emperor. See you in the next video.